The first question is the Russian users is well know your services that you provide. Could you explore for those who don't know, what is your main services of the Proton?
Sure. So Proton is a Swiss-based company that provides end-to-end encrypted services. And we'll get to that later, but in simple words, we provide an email service, a VPN service, calendar service, and also a drive one that is our latest product. All our products are end-to-end encrypted, which means that the data is encrypted at the source, and only the final user that is the recipient of the email, for example, is able to decrypt that message and to actually access the content. We as Proton, we store the encrypted information, but we have no way to access that information. For the VPN, the encryption doesn't happen because the truth is that we don't log any type of information, so there's no way to access your information because the information is not there in the first place at all. And for calendar and drive, the encryption design is the same as mail, so every information is accessible only to people that have the ability to access it via passwords, or if I share the calendar event, for example, with you, or a file with you via drive. So the idea is that Proton wants to provide a suite of products and services that allow people to gain back their privacy on the internet and to basically experience again the full privacy.
Oh, that's great. You already mentioned the end-to-end encryption. Could you explain like how reliable it is?
So that's it's mathematically reliable, which means that when you access your Proton Mail account via username and password, basically the first time that you create your account, we create a key that is related to your password, okay? This key is used to encrypt all the content of your service, of your mail content, let's say, okay? And that's why you're the only one that is able to access that content. Then we use a very well-known system of private and public key that it is used to exchange emails and to let also the recipient to access the message, okay? And these are all open source standards. That is why basically this stuff works, because there is plenty of organization and people that are able to review and to audit these standards, okay? And to evaluate if there is any security flaw or if the system works, and it actually gets updated regularly. So that's how end-to-end ensures that no one beside you and the recipients of your email can access the information.
One of the things is that when we're talking about the security by design, end-to-end encryption, the whole environment, secure environment, when users experience like secure mail, secure VPN, secure storage, calendar, can we say that it's kind of a value that you promote, that for you privacy is a value and you trying to promote it?
Well, we try to promote it because this is what we believe in. That's at our core, right? The Proton is based on privacy. It's based on what we believe is a human right, okay? In the end, our CEO has done a very interesting TED Talk about privacy and how Proton Mail started and was born. And the idea is that saying that you have nothing to hide is not the right answer. That's not how you deny privacy, okay? Privacy is something so natural, so intrinsic of our being that we don't have to get used to not have it, okay? So all the latest technologies and big companies are slowly getting us into the habit of just giving our privacy for free, okay? And that's what we are fighting for. We want to make sure that you know what you're giving for free, because if you don't pay for a product, then you are the product, right?
Of course.
Exactly. So, and that's why we have paid subscriptions, because we don't sell your data, because we don't do all those shady stuff. Of course, we have a freemium, we have also free subscription, but that's only thanks to our supporters and our subscribers that believe in our mission, believe in our core values, and let us help the people that need a free subscription. So yeah, privacy by default.
Cool, great. One of the things is that we closely go into the question discussion, like when the user go into the internet and he or she need to create the email, what is better to choose, like Proton Mail or Gmail, for instance? Can you say what the difference?
Yes, Google has a great ecosystem, but that's a trap. Right? That's the way they make sure that you keep giving your data. And they can do it because they have your data. So they know what you need, right? So in the moment when you have to set your online identity with your first email address, you should carefully think about it, because your email address, your email contains a lot of sensitive information, okay? Your banking exchanges, insurance, work, bills, everything that is so sensitive about you, about your life, that you don't go out there and say to your neighbor, okay, this is my banking information, this is what I'm doing with my insurance. You just don't. Okay, so why would you do that? Why would you let companies, big tech companies, to do that without you knowing about it? Okay, so it's really about thinking forward. It's really about doing the right thing, and to be honest, there's no difference. It's not more expensive. It's not more difficult. We are trying our best to provide the best user experience to our users, to explain them how this complicated stuff can become very easy. And I would suggest to everyone to use Proton services.
Yeah, let's just sum up, like 5 reasons to use Proton services.
Okay, 5 reasons. First of all, get back your privacy. Okay. Second, you don't sell your data to big companies that are going to use you just as mere objects to sell. Okay? Once you've been sold to third-party companies, with Proton Mail, you don't get spams, you don't get advertisements, you don't get any of these, because your data hasn't been sold to anyone, right? 4, if you believe in privacy, you might also want to consider to get a paid subscription and support us, support the work that we do for example, for Russia these days, okay? And 5, it's a great product. It's nice, it looks very good, and there are, if you create a Proton Mail account, in reality, you're creating a Proton account that lets you access Calendar, that lets you access Drive, the VPN, okay? And all that, again, for free.
But then the question is the law enforcement, because in some of the countries like Russia, the legal conditions a little bit harsh. So technically, you might be blaming some different criminal offenses that you not actually fulfilled. So the question is, how will we proceed if you will get the request from the law enforcement in case of the crime investigation, especially from Russia?
Encryption, no log. Those are all technical constraints that we have to prevent the things to happen, right? And to keep your privacy safe. But another layer here is the Swiss law that is very privacy friendly. And being outside of the EU and outside of other groups of law enforcement, basically the Russian government, in order to get some information from us, has to pass through the Swiss government, okay? And in most of the cases, the Swiss government is gonna deny that request. So it's really one of the unique points, unique values of Proton, the fact that we are based in Switzerland, unlike any other countries, like that might be based in US, for example, and you're part of the 5, 9, 13 alliances group, right? 5 Eyes Alliance.
Yep.
And this means that all these countries can share information with each other, while we don't have this information, we don't store it, it's encrypted, and on top of that, our government is protecting us from external forces to give up any possible data or to start tracking people.
One of the questions to your precise product, like VPN, because we know that the Russian government trying to block all services of Proton since 2020, and the question is how you managing to overcome the censorship? How you still are available to Russian users?
This happened, I think, in February, March 2020. And since then, we started working on anti-censorship features to bypass these network restrictions, okay? So, putting it simply, at the very beginning, protonvpn.com, api.protonvpn.ch, and other domains were not accessible anymore in the Russian network because they were blocked at the source. And we had to provide some alternative ways for our applications, for our users, to go through some other means and get access to their email, for example, okay? Then later on, with the most recent events, VPN was heavily targeted, okay, by the Russian government. If I recall correctly, around June there was the first heavy attack, and that didn't impact us much because we already had anti-censorship measures in place, because we've been working throughout the years on these features, because unfortunately things are happening around the world. And then in the last summer, the government attacks started to become a little bit more complicated, more frequent, at the point where the network infrastructure received probably some heavy investments in terms of engineering, where all our servers were getting blocked and people could not connect to the VPN in the first place. But we managed in several ways to bypass those network restrictions as well. Our latest stealth protocol has allowed people to finally get back on the internet. But things are evolving, things are changing. The Russian government keeps working on it, and we keep working on it. And it's very difficult to keep up the pace. Sometimes we're ahead, sometimes we have to react, okay? It's a little bit of a cat and mouse game, to be honest. Yeah. But we're doing our best, and we're committed to help everyone.
We know that the European Union imposed several packages of the sanctions for the users who are officially living in Russia. And the question is how you can actually provide services to Russian users in Russia, and what is your position regarding the sanctions? Actually, this is one of the tricky questions, because they need to pay with the credit cards for the service.
Right. So before the sanctions were imposed on the Russian economy network, people from Russia could actually pay for a VPN subscription. And we saw that until March, the end of March, people were eager to actually get a subscription because they were somehow predicting what's going to happen there. After that, you're right, that's not possible anymore. But that's not a problem at all, because again, we have a free subscription tier, and that is available to everyone in the world, and that's basically subsidized by our paying customers. So if you're a paid user and you believe in Proton bringing privacy everywhere in the world, what you pay for is some extra features, yes, but basically you pay for supporting us making Proton VPN available everywhere in the world. So the free subscription that Proton provides to users in the world, it's something that will never change. It's something that is a part of our core values because, again, we believe that privacy has to be the default of the internet.
How often the Russian community should use VPN? And what is the main criteria of the secure VPN?
You should definitely use it 24/7. A VPN is something that should be always there. There's not a moment when your privacy is worth to be protected and when it's not. You should always have it in place. It's something that doesn't impact your work, your browsing. It actually can make it even faster in some cases. So I would advise the people listening here and to everyone to keep it 24/7, and as well as using every day, and not only for some occasions, the other Proton products. That's something I would definitely suggest, yes. And the other question was?
What is the main criteria for the more secure VPNs? Like now you can say, what is your main feature in Proton VPN?
Server side. That's why we provide audits from third parties that are certified and that can certify the fact that we don't log any information of our users. On top of that, our applications are open source, so you can go out there, everyone can go out there and read the code and make sure that there is no weird injection of data or capturing of other things that are happening on your local device and sending them who knows where, okay? So all these criteria, basically transparency, is it's something that, you know, it's the peace of mind for you on how to pick a secure, a safe, a reliable VPN product. And then you can have every other kind of feature on top, but yeah, these are the foundations that make sure you can distinguish between one VPN and another.
So to sum up, it's a jurisdiction where the service is officially registered. Then it's open source that everyone can check the code. Yeah. Then it's audits. Then the third party can check the code is implemented in a way as it announced. And then it's no logs. So you don't store the user's data, the foundation. So what you can recommend to the users in Russia in 2023?
In terms of what they can do with Proton, leveraging Proton, make sure that you're safe by protecting your privacy, because you know how things are today, but you know how tomorrow they will become, okay? And don't give up on things that might not work temporarily, but keep trying. Don't lose trust in people like us, because we keep working and fighting along with you. And if there is something I could ask instead to the Russian community, is to help us, is to support us. I don't mean financially, of course. I really mean reaching out to us. Let us know when things are working, when things are not working, in which condition. And this is for us super, super useful, because we have no other mean of testing what's happening there, okay? And having collaborative people that can give us feedback, can support us, it could be potentially super, super useful. It's invaluable.
Maybe we'd like to add something from your side that we did manage to discuss.
I think what Proton stands for is great. not just because I work here, but because I see the commitment, I see the passion, I see the energy that everyone here is putting into building something that is very difficult to build, technically, very difficult to sell, and very difficult to keep up with the competitors that are doing things in different ways, okay? And keep the eyes open, stay tuned. We're gonna launch new stuff in the future, okay? And I wish everyone to stay safe and to keep their privacy forever.